This is Thorsmork, or Thor's Valley, an area named after the god of thunder himself. And as you can imagine, with a name like that, this place is going to be epic. Thorsmork offers some of the best hiking and landscapes in Iceland. However, it isn't easy to get to. Nestled between two glaciers in the south of Iceland, this valley is accessed by some of Iceland's most notorious F-roads. And I use the word road pretty lightly here. To self-drive, you need four-wheel drive experience and a modified vehicle that can cope with the deep river crossings. Alternatively, you can let someone else do the driving, like we did. Multiple companies offer huge four-wheel drive bus transport into the valley that make the river crossings look like a walk in the park. Although remote, Thorsmork still has a lot to offer when it comes to accommodation. And we chose to stay at the Volcano Trails. Here there are facilities for every level of camper, from cook shelters, flushable toilets and shower blocks, to fire pits, dinner buffets, and even a sauna. There are multiple accommodation options, from self-camping, shared dorms, private cabins, glamping tents, or larger mountain huts. And we have treated ourselves to a rather bougie glamping tent. We've arrived in camp at about 8 PM and I think our plan for tonight is to hike a summit called Valahnukur, if I'm pronouncing that right. It's kind of an iconic view over Thorsmork, so I think that's where we're going to start for this evening, and hopefully the light will start getting a bit kind of warmer and more golden as we make our way up. But the great thing about Iceland in June is the fact that it just doesn't actually ever get dark, so even though we've arrived quite late, we just need to drag ourselves away from this super comfortable tent, and then we'll be able to do the whole hike in daylight. But let's get going. So on the first little bit of this hike up to that summit, it's actually all been in woodland, which is kind of really weird. We haven't actually come across that at all in Iceland. I think from my understanding, once upon a time in ancient history, there was a lot more woodland throughout the whole of Iceland before agriculture. So right now we're walking through the woods. Honestly, this could be the UK. It's pretty cool. Our end goal for tonight is just up there, so not too bad at all. It's super weird, Iceland, really, in this midnight sun, because you don't really have a time frame or a time limit of when you're trying to get somewhere by. Like if you want to shoot a sunset, you don't really have to be there by a certain time. It's really hard to predict the exact time where the light will be golden or the clouds will be lit up. I really haven't mastered that yet. But hopefully tonight we'll get at least something. We made it to the top of the summit, just a little walk actually this evening, and we've got some amazing light coming through the valley, and you've got a view across the whole of Thorsmork behind me and 360-degree views all around. So I've set up my first shot, and let me show you what I'm thinking. So plan for an image from the top here when we've got this nice light. We've got this nice light running along this ridge down the bottom here and all the way up here, and also through the valley. So I tried to frame this a little bit so the sunlight is on the right hand side, just coming in corner of frame here. And then we've got this really distinctive silhouette of this kind of black spiky rock. The river's running all the way through into the distance, and the mountains also copying that line. So I think this is probably one of the best viewpoints. I might also as well add myself in here in a red jacket, just to give a little bit of contrast and scale to the scene. So I think that's what we're going to try first.
I think the best of the light has gone for the night, not because the sun is actually set, but because it has just dipped behind the mountains over there. So there's not really much light left in the valley anymore. But I'm pretty happy with what I got, and the views here are just epic. This was just a short hike from the Volcano Huts campground. So I can't wait for tomorrow. A great start to Thorsmork. We just got down from that hike and it's about midnight now, and this is the sky. I honestly just wonder how anyone gets any sleep at all in Iceland. Like, as a photographer, you just want to stay up all night, every night. This is 12 midnight in June. So today on day 2 and hike 2, we have decided to make this mountain here our goal today, that one with the 2 peaks. I'll put the name of it on the screen below, but it's an extra kind of 5Ks and a couple hours off the main Orange Trail here at the kind of Volcano Trails area. But apparently, biggest mountain in the area should have some pretty cool views. Just coming into the incline now for our summit, and this is where the switchbacks have started. You might be able to see we have got some pretty good views behind us here, and then the switchbacks are just heading all the way up here for about another 200 meters of elevation gain, or 2 to 250. But to be fair, from a distance it looked really bad, and right now it doesn't look terrible, but slow and steady.
As we climbed higher, the anticipation grew for the views we would be rewarded with at the top.
Towards the top here, it's definitely getting a little bit more exposed, a little bit steeper, but still totally worth it. And just when you thought you'd reached the summit, as always, there is another summit. I think that's the one we're actually aiming for.
As we summited, the views were incredible. 360-degree vistas with glaciers on either side. I always hike to views like this in the hopes of getting portfolio-worthy photographs. However, sometimes a scene can be stunning to the eye, but just doesn't photograph well. And this was one of those occasions. The views were impossible to do justice, impossible to document via still images. So on this occasion, even though it was a hard, long slog to get here, I didn't walk away with any worthy shots. But that's okay, because I did walk away with some very worthy memories.